All right, guys, this video is here from Jubilee. It is called, "Do Women Really Have It Harder?" Male activists versus anti-feminists. So, male feminists versus whatever. A bunch of stinky nerds all battling each other. Honestly, I feel like you can't really... who cares? That, like, just the question alone. I'm interested in the video, but the question alone is, like, who cares? Like, we get so, like, locked into debating who has it easier and harder that we don't focus on just, like, the struggles that need to be, like, talked about. You know, men and women both have different issues. Generally, they have a lot of the same issues, actually, if you kind of look into it. Men and women have similar issues. You know, everybody's struggling to get a decent amount of money, a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there's some issues dependent to men, some issues specific to women. You know, like, it's just the way it is. We should focus on building each other up instead of breaking each other down. But let's get this going.
The only thing that I could think that justifies being a feminist today is you must just want to get laid. There's no reason to believe in all of these crazy things that...
As a male feminist, maybe. Kind of spitting fire on that one. A little bit based. I don't know, man. I'm a little skeptical. Like, I think it's fine to advocate for women's rights as a man, but, like, when you call yourself a feminist, a male feminist, I'm a little apprehensive.
Seek to strip you of your masculinity, perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are evil and all of these things. That has to be the reason.
Men are evil. Oh, hard music, baby.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Women have it easier than they think they do.
Oh, no. I mean, that's kind of a difficult question to answer. And hear me out. Because the overwhelming majority of women I talk to don't complain about how they have it harder to be a woman. That's only online. I don't see that from men either, to be absolutely honest with you. I literally only see it from, like, crybabies on the internet. Both men and women, crybabies on the internet. You know, your victim complex perpetuators, like Andrew Tate, who blames, like, a bunch of shit on women. Like, honestly, that's all I see this kind of rhetoric from. I don't see it from people in the real world. No, I don't hear it. It's kind of the truth. So, I mean, on TikTok, but so on TikTok, the women on TikTok have it a little easier than they think that they do, because they're, you know, perpetual baby victims that are like 14 years old and have never experienced life. But in the real world, the women don't complain about being a woman. So,
with feminism, it's kind of brainwashed women to think that they are victims in 99% of cases, and all the disenfranchisement.
Like, sure, any group can, like, make you feel like you're more a victim than you actually are. Like, I shouldn't have got that. Like, for sure, I understand that. But realistically speaking, like, let's knock it off. Like, modern day feminism isn't, or excuse me, like, newer feminism seems kind of poopy, but, like, you know, feminism in general fundamentally is not bad. So let's knock it off. You know,
that they would claim in, like, colleges and careers. A lot of these careers are way easier to get into for women than they are for men, because they're looking to hire women because of feminism.
Way easier, probably not way easier. They have quotas for sure. So the just fundamentally speaking, the reason that we created quotas was because, like, people weren't putting women into work. So we had to create historically. So we had to create quotas so that they would actually put women into specific jobs. And now they're doing it. That's pretty much it. So are there some potential negatives? Sure. Maybe some women that don't deserve the job are getting it, but most of the time, I don't think that, like, most of the time the quota isn't like 50% women in these jobs, I don't think. So it's not really like it's that much easier to get in as a woman.
Yeah, like in divorce and stuff, they get more property, the kids' rights, all that.
Yeah, for sure. Most of the time, because women want, like, their kids, like, okay. So, yeah, for sure. When it comes to, like, usually women are the ones that aren't making as much money. So let's say that, you know, you're married for 20 years. Of course, someone's going to get alimony. But if a guy wasn't working, or if a guy was doing the same role as a traditional woman was, he should get, like, alimony and shit as well. When it comes to kids, you know, there definitely can be areas where men get the shit end of the stick, for sure. Although, generally speaking, women tend to want to be a little more active in their kids' lives than men. Not all the time. I'm not saying all the time, you know. Custody can be difficult, but for sure. You know, it can be a struggle for some men, especially good fathers that want to have their kids. And then there's a lot of bad fathers that represent them poorly.
But more so, I think that from the jump actually have it easier. Like, men need to be a provider. You're taught to be tough. Oh, why are you crying? Don't be a girl. But when a girl is crying or a girl is upset or anything that happens, usually they're a princess and they're given the world.
Well, yeah, because
But then, like, well, first of all, women have to work now. So, you know, haha, you owned yourself, women. But That's first of all. But more than that, like, isn't feminism trying to teach men that they can cry? Which they shouldn't really be able to cry. I mean, I don't think that I mean, it's okay for you to cry if it's like a serious situation, like somebody passes away or something, but in general, you shouldn't really cry. I think the reason that people cry, or women cry more, is because of estrogen. I think the reason men are angry more is because of testosterone. You know, I don't think that you should necessarily be going around trying to cry, though. We should be a little more sensitive to men's feelings. Yeah, sure.
For women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create life, and they're extremely valuable from birth. For men, it's not really the same way. You have to make something of yourself.
Shit, I forgot that 1-year-old baby girls could have fucking kids. They're born with that value. Can we stop with this idea that like women don't have to work hard to like be valuable? Have you ever these people are terminally online, bro? Go meet a woman. Like, women have to have value. Like, a lot of times a woman has to have like a job, or they have to like look beautiful in society or something. Like, if you want to go traditional, women have to put a lot of work. Like, you know why my wife takes. All women take like an hour to get ready, and men just throw on a pair of fucking dirty pants, and they look just as attractive as the woman that they're with. And the reality is just because like there's higher beauty standards. Women aren't born with their values. Again, everybody has different issues. It's not that like simple. Oh, they're just born with all their value. What are you talking about? Talk about like a perpetual victim complex. It's like weird, bro. Stop with their value. Like, do you know that women have to work, right? And they have to like women don't just go into the workforce and instantly get like the top job because they're women. Like, women have to do work as well. Women have to grow up. Women have to learn. Women have to adhere to particular social structures and standards. Like, it's annoying when people say that they born with their value. It's so easy to be a woman. It's like, you're an idiot.
To be respected.
Exactly. Like, a pretty woman can go far just using her face. A man can't do that.
Yeah, they can. 100% can. You're an idiot. Sorry, I shouldn't be so mean. Listen, the halo effect is real for both men and women. So like, yes, attractive women definitely get shit that unattractive women don't get. But most women aren't like super attractive where they're getting whatever. But also, like, a man being a man does also help you, even if you're not attractive. Like, a lot of times, like, especially if you're like a big guy, like it's like a tall guy with a deep voice, you'll be considered more masculine. People will fuck with you less just by virtue of your masculinity. It goes both ways. It's different. It's just, it goes both ways. It's not that simple.
A man can't go to a rich businessman or like a businesswoman and be like, I'm good looking, let me come to your yacht.
Right.
A woman.
Oh, they could. Yeah, not as much. It's not happening as much, but they could. Or you can go to a rich businessman, a gay guy, he'll throw money at you.
Can't.
But yeah, like, that is such an outlier. Most women don't have access to that. So
right.
Let's bring the disagreeers forward.
I have a quick question. Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go onto a rich man's yacht, and that would be kind of her ticket on, right? Okay.
Yeah, they but such an outlier, and on top of that, there's probably no long-term sustainability.
So did that help women vote at all, being pretty?
But what does that have to do with it?
I'm just asking, because I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht, or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Yeah,
they already have the right to
vote
vote
for a long time.
I think something you specifically said shows to me why women don't have it easier. I think it was you who said, women already have their value. Their value is already obvious because they can have children. I don't want to put you into box, but there are large amounts of men. Women are people that have children, and then they raise the child and they be quiet.
And I think
that is a problem.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked was how indoctrinated into the patriarchy you are.
Indoctrinated into the patriarchy. Buzzword.
Right? You both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something. And those expectations that you put on yourself is a direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to dismantle.
As are the values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Men did.
Those are God.
Yeah, their parents did. Got him.
Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings. In Genesis, you have a creation of both man and women. They're made in God's image.
Weren't women made out of like the rib of a man? In the Bible, they're supposed to be subservient to men. Like, I know that the modern religious philosophy is for like the men being the leader of the household to be like working for the women in some capacity as well. I do understand that. But okay, I just feel like it's not that simple, but all right.
We quote the Bible and like some feminist.
Hold on, but
I mean, we can.
We're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state. You cannot use religion as a
And the Bible
motivation
also
to make
doesn't tell
legislation.
women
If I hear one more person use religion as a reason to not give rights to people, I'm probably gonna fucking explode.
I think that we should use religion to not give rights to this guy because he's cringe beta.
People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Back to the prompt, I mean, I don't think that women have it easier than they think they do. And I think to just make blanket statements like women in society think they have it easy or men in society have it harder, whatever you want to say, I just think it's kind of naive. Sure, maybe some women think they have it easier, but that might not be because they're a woman. It might just be because of their own set of life challenges and vice versa.
Yeah, and I agree. And one of the reasons that I am so passionately anti-feminist is because I believe that feminism pits men against women. Men and women may be equal today, but they are not the same. But
no, it doesn't. Some of it does. Like, again, TikTok feminism does, just like TikTok fucking male advocation does. It's not like, stop blaming everything on feminism. Feminism was created because women didn't have rights. And now there are obnoxious young girls that are weaponizing it, just like, but there are still men being sexist. So, like, stop with the baby bullshit complex. Stop looking at fucking, like, 5-year-olds and pretending that that represents all women in the world. Like, that's just childish. Like, grow up. Like, I get, like, 20-year-olds getting sucked into the, like, the bullshit back and forth with, like, see, women are stupid, I'm like, and falling for the TikTok nonsense. But when you're a grown man and you're starting to fall for this shit, like, grow the fuck up.
But also, too, women are under a pressing assault today in this country. They're losing their ability to compete in sports, beauty pageants, also just basic things like...
Well, beauty pageants probably shouldn't exist because they're pretty fucking toxic, the people who are in them. It's also really gross to have children in fucking beauty pageants. If we're going to talk about drag shows, we should talk about fucking beauty pageants being disgusting.
That to people that identify as women. And no one is talking about it. Feminists aren't talking about it. So now you have conservatives having to fight for women's equality.
You're making some pretty blanket statements saying feminists don't care about it. And you say, you think that all women just...
There's a lot of traditional feminists that do not like trans women competing in sports. I know that's what that guy's getting at. And you like most realistically speaking, like I do think that trans women in sports can hurt cis women. That's a conversation for another day. I don't think there's any trans person that wants to become trans just to be good at sports, but there's like an unfortunate reality there, and you know, it sucks because trans women just want to be seen as women. But like, just let's not pretend that conservatives give a fuck about women. Like they, like excuse me, let me not be so blanketed. But most people don't give a shit about women. Most of the people who are like saying that trans women shouldn't compete in sports, or at least like a lot of the people on the right, it's just like anti-trans at any, like they just happen to be right. It's like a you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. That's just a reality.
Just are against the men.
To answer your question, yeah, you're talking about women. Women are not all feminists. Yeah. There are plenty of feminists who are very anti-woman. You know, you saw it in the political era where you have people who will attack Kayleigh McEnany and Kellyanne Conway because they aren't pro-women. They're not for the girls.
So you...
actually, we have like just a little bit left. I haven't heard Kevin yet.
Oh, Kevin, speak up for yourself, dude. Come on.
When you talked about the pressures of being a man and having to provide and having to prove your value as a man, I think those are real challenges that men face. That's why like women have it harder too, because they are also being impacted by how aggressive men feel like they need to be able to secure the role that they have to play in society. But the reality of today is that because of the systems that we're in, the patriarchy is...
Well, let's keep in mind that like some women will hold up like the patriarchy as well. Like let's keep that in mind. Like it's something to keep in mind. Like men aren't the only ones upholding it. There are women that are upholding it. There are women who will like, you know, berate a man for not being masculine enough. So let's just be real here, doggies.
Negatively impacting not only women, but also men.
There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
Oh, interesting question. I don't know. That's what a hard question, because like I don't like the concept of getting, like I understand it's necessity, but like you shouldn't be, you know, using it as like a form of birth control. You should try to be careful. That's pretty much the biggest thing I would say more than anything else. Outside of that, like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess there isn't. I don't know. You know, I understand financial reasons and stressors and whatnot. Just be responsible as you can, you know? All I can say.
So I'll just center the conversation around the very fact that, you know, we're a group of 8 men. The optics of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion it's a bad look. So,
well, just the whole conversation without women is kind of a silly look. To be honest with you, but sure.
Like for me, from a personal...
Should be like a mixture of men and women on both sides.
Standpoint, you know,
like, you know, conservative and progressive men and conservative and progressive, or feminist men and women, and then like anti-feminist men and women would be a good, you know, mixture.
I have a girlfriend. There might be some reasons on a personal level where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care. Because that's what abortion is. It's health care.
Yeah. One of the paramount
Guess so. I don't know. I would maybe
ideologies of, I guess, being a quote unquote male feminist.
I guess a healthcare professional performs its.
And it's just the ability to mind your own business. Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path.
So being an anti-feminist.
Well, I think it's okay to have that, like, say, like, hey, there could be wrong reasons. It's something that we should necessarily legislate your ability to get it.
I look at this and I say, well, I am more religious as well. So I want to say, like, I'm more like pro-life, right? But if a woman decides that they want to not give birth, it doesn't matter the reason. You know, maybe she's not wealthy enough. Maybe, you know, the father left her. You know, there's so many reasons. And then I also look at like this gun violence and how we're like birthing kids and we raise them and send it to school knowing that it can get killed. I don't know. I would feel like
it's like not a safe. It's not the best world to be raising a child in.
Exactly.
I think a patriarchal element, even in your answer, not to combat or what have you. The idea of trying to cycle through the reasons why and going, yeah, I guess those make sense, is still, in my opinion, patriarchal.
Well, that's silly. I mean, it's just, it's okay for men to have opinions. Like, it's okay for us to talk about these things. Okay, relax.
Even though I was on.
Not everything has to be a buzzword. Sometimes people can just have perspectives.
The feminist side on that topic, it feels like I was put in a position where I was framed as wrong. It felt like you aren't allowed to have this opinion on this topic because you're not a woman. And I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest.
Sure, I agree.
Off the top of my head, I know that was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare. Healthcare preserves life, it protects it. It doesn't take it away, it doesn't eliminate it.
What about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that is doing harm.
Oh, but it's
that
not always a
healthcare.
child, right? So it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area. That's not a line.
It is actually scientifically proven. It is a separate strain of DNA at conception.
Well, yeah, we get it. It is technically like a potential human life or a human life, but we haven't assigned personhood to it yet. That's the whole conversation. Like, realistically speaking, I know when we talk about abortion, people like to be like, oh my God, it's killing a life. Like, we don't care about life as a society. We pretend to, but we don't. Once it's born, conservatives don't tend to give a singular fuck about things that would help that baby, right? They don't really care about expanding welfare programs or reforming the welfare system. They're mostly just trying to cut welfare programs. There's never advocacy from conservatives to bolster foster care systems. If anything, it comes from progressives. And when it comes to child health, child health care in general, like conservatives aren't advocating for health care, generally speaking. You know, when it comes to a lot of fucking different, like the people who are cutting the mental health services and whatnot, there tend to be more conservative leaning individuals. Like, listen, it's just kind of the reality, you know? I'm not saying progressives are these amazing fucking virtuous creatures, but all I'm saying is, like, it's everything about birthing the kid, and then it's really nothing about providing, you know, resources to the kid in any profound way. So let's be real.
If you ask any doctor,
but if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
It's not a clump of cells. It's why you call it a termination. Scientifically, it is a life at birth, and scientifically, it is at conception. At conception,
it is a life, but it is not a human.
So look, though, the thing is, so when you say it's about protecting life, abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
at the expense of another life.
But you're already prioritizing that other life over the woman who's carrying that life.
Because of patriarchy, too.
Because of
That's why you're
patriarchy.
doing it.
Because of
Because we've
patriarchy,
already
you're
devalued
basically
it.
saying that.
So what if we're
See, these
aborting a
cells
female
are more
baby?
important than the woman.
I think it's absolutely shameful how flippantly our society has begun to treat the topic of abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
To protect the life of another woman.
Then don't have sex without protection.
Really, you don't have.
Well, I mean, like, listen, at the end of the day, like, most of these abortions aren't happening because there's a threat to the mother. Like, let's not pretend that is, if that was it, then we would only have like 1% of abortions would be like viable, you know, to protect the life of the mother, or like, you know, the child's gonna die anyway. But okay.
Contraception.
How about you don't have sex without protection?
Well, I don't have a baby. I don't have a baby. Stop absolving women and men of responsibility and treating grown-ass people like they are children.
Again, we're not emphasizing any of those things. We're going straight to women and making it their problem.
Well, it's a man's problem as well, because if a man gets a woman pregnant, that is his child as well. So one of the things that's really important.
Yeah, but a man can much more easily walk away from that child. Like, maybe not. Well, you could put the kid up for adoption, but realistically speaking, as that's growing inside of a woman, it becomes a person to that woman much more quickly than it does to a man. It takes like a while for, like, you know, a woman bonds with that child while they're in the starting from conception. A man doesn't bond with the child until it's born, which makes it a lot harder for the woman to give it up. I mean, that's one of the things that men can't factor into this equation. Is like, I don't think that most women are like, yes, I can't wait to fucking nay this thing. I think that the experience, generally speaking, I don't know if I'd go as far to call it traumatic, but it can be very stressful, not just physically, but emotionally to get it. It's not like the easiest choice. Not like women are going around like, this is fucking awesome, I cannot wait. You know, it's a lot harder than that. I think that like one of the male privileges is not having to acknowledge that or recognize that.
Important what abortion does is it puts all of reproductive rights in the hands of women when it takes both parties. She cannot have a child without a man. Abortion normalizes.
Ooh, what about a trans woman?
Women making bad choices. We've kind of given a free pass for people to be a lot more carefree about who they sleep with and not really think twice about the ramifications that may come of it.
Maybe, I guess, when we give a lot of people different free passes for different things. Why don't we start with Wall Street? I'm not even trying to like fucking meme, but like we have all this like, oh, fucking women. But it's like, okay, what about rich corporations? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but if you want to do priorities of lack of accountability, you know, like we gave trillions of dollars to like fucking organizations as they destroy our economy. So maybe we should focus on that. It's a little more important, I think.
But again, we're also we're zooming in on a high level on the end result. We're not talking about the systemic issues that cause women to have abortions. Hold on. We're not talking about the lack of resources that make people feel like they cannot sustain a pregnancy or sustain a life. Right. And those are things that are caused by the way men have set up society. So instead, hold on. So instead of talking about the actual issues from the top down and going the whole way, we go to the most oppressed person involved and make it their fault.
Mansplaining is overly criticized.
I don't know. I feel like does mansplaining happen that often? I don't know. I guess I don't know because I'm a man. Should a man be able to opt out of child support and responsibility if he wanted the woman to get an abortion and she didn't? So it's funny. My wife thinks that they should. I don't think that they should. I look at it from the perspective of like what's best for the child. Realistically speaking, if abortion didn't exist, men would be in the same position as if it did. If they'd have the same options, right? So it doesn't really change anything. Giving a woman an additional choice shouldn't mean that a man should get an additional choice in this instance because there are physical or biological advantages to being a man and a woman. But being a man comes with physical like power dynamic, like biological advantages. It's great. And we always talk about how women suck in sports and they shouldn't make as much money. Of course, it's not as entertaining. Well, here's a woman's like a benefit. They birth a baby, they get to make the ultimate decision on whether they keep it or not. And so like at the end of the day, I'm more focused on like if that baby's going to be born, how do we support the baby? Is it fair to men in this instance? No, but the other things aren't fair to women. Their literal ability to not fight back, they're on a strong, isn't fair to women. But we're not going to go around and give like women fucking steroids. All women get free steroids, you know what I mean? Or all women get free bionicle fucking exoskeletons to be able to compete with men. That's just not how we operate in society. If we were to make it so that men could get a, what do they call it? A child support abortion, we'll say, you would need to implement like pretty solid financial safeguards for babies additionally, so that the kid gets the resources it needs to an even greater extent. And that's the way I look at it. So. There's so much
I frequently come across videos online where like a man will respond back to a broad generalization about women, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're just mansplaining it," as if men aren't allowed to have a voice in the conversation. And I think that the term itself, it's just not really defined.
And mansplaining is just not real. Yeah. Like it literally is a man explaining something, and these people get angry about it. Like that's the reality of the times in which we live. And
well, listen, my understanding, and this is, I'm not a woman, so obviously I'm not going to have to deal with fucking mansplaining, but mansplaining is when like a woman is perfectly capable of explaining something or does understand something and a man still decides to go ahead and explain it. That would be like what mansplaining is. Leave me alone.
Also, it hurts the ability of men to have conversations with women because you think, oh, wow, if I explain this issue to her, then I'm going to be accused of mansplaining or I'm going to be accused of being sexist because I don't think she understands it. That's toxic. And it hurts women, it hurts men, and it's just not a way for us to have a functioning society.
And at its core, it's completely hypocritical because the feminist plight is that women need to have a voice and they're being told they can't have a voice. And then they turn around and do the exact same thing and say, you're mansplaining me. You shouldn't have a voice about this topic because you're a man.
And we're targeted because of our identity, and no one cares about it because we're supposedly in positions of power, so we don't get to be victims. We don't get to say, oh, you should feel bad for us because we're men, so we don't get to have the luxury of having the benefit of the doubt of society or the media or any of those things, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to speak about mansplaining from a different perspective because you guys are talking about controversial topics. I'm going to talk about it from just like a day-to-day perspective. In my relationship with my partner, how I try to be really mindful of mansplaining is when she is sharing her struggle. I think a tendency that can be conditioned in me through just how men dominate and want to have to solve problems and all that is I want to jump in and just solve it and try to explain what's happening here and try to question her experience and be like, hey, like, what did you think about this? Did you think about that? Well, I see this. That inherently in itself comes off as mansplaining because what is the counter to mansplaining is actually getting consent from the other person. How do you want to be supported? Do you want me to support you and listen to you, or do you want me to help solve problems?
It's also, mansplaining is also not just a man having an opinion. That's not the situation. The idea is when a man interjects an opinion that he either is not fully educated on or does not have the appropriate empathy to be able to talk about.
How is that different than a woman doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my issue.
Then feel free when a woman does that to say you're womansplaining. I don't think that
there's a reason that term doesn't exist because you're not allowed to do that towards women in society.
I promise you, if you did that, it would be just fine.
You just invented
it. Would be just fine.
I think the difference is though, when if that were to happen to men, it wouldn't quiet our voices to being completely unheard. My wife is a physics and math teacher. If she has the answer to a question in a staff meeting, she's going to have to be louder than the men in the room because that is the way society has conditioned people to operate, especially in male-dominated spaces. Yeah. That's what mansplaining is. I have one more question. Is it about the word?
Yeah, that's what I feel. Like people getting hung up on like words like
y'all really don't. Y'all have a lot of problems with a lot of these languages.
When you say mansplaining, you have to understand that subconsciously we're already creating a divide when really a woman can mansplain by definition the way you guys are.
What are there people who are like just fucking professionals that come on here all the time, like the same people? I've seen this fucking gay dude on here like 100 times.
Explaining it, and that's just as wrong as if a man does it. So why is it called mansplaining? Why isn't it just disrespectful?
So when your life is not at stake, when you're not being attacked, I think you can focus on language. When you're not at risk of being...
You live in U.S., dude.
Men are attacked every single day.
Women are attacked more.
But I think from a society...
See, do you see how productive this conversation is when they talk about who has it harder? Like, this is dumb. This doesn't help anybody. These conversations are frankly like they're really just orchestrated to like rile up tensions. They don't actually do anything positive.
You guys talk a lot about social conditioning and how women feel uncomfortable, but don't you think this narrative that you're saying right now is contributing to that? Telling women that they should be scared when they're in an environment full of men, telling women that, you know, they are oppressed, they are this, they're that.
I mean, it could cause anything could cause some kind of a victim complex. Sure, it's possible. Just fundamentally acknowledging something. That's why the message should be delivered with like, it's good to acknowledge things, but you shouldn't lean too much into them. Like, acknowledge them to understand them, but like, don't create a victim complex. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about the conversation.
Telling women they're less than
men. Let me respond to that. They're not telling them that. They're validating the fact that that's the reality.
Right.
Women should be encouraged to be financially independent of men.
1000%. Of course. That's like, of course, like I'm going to raise if I have daughters, I'm going to raise my daughters to be financially independent, and to do a good job finding like somebody that's like a good husband or wife, whatever. If they're gay, I don't give a fuck, or whatever, non-binary, I don't give a shit. A good partner, we'll say. You need to have financial independence. You need to be somebody who knows how to be independent before you can find somebody to be dependent on. Because like my wife and I, we're very dependent on each other, purely consensually. Like we both are independent people. We don't financially need each other. We only emotionally need each other. And that's why like we have a healthy relationship, because like we're in love. We need to be around each other, but like we're not stuck with each other. There's no like, oh man, I'm only staying with this person because this person doesn't have money, or like I'm only staying with this guy because he has money, or I'm only staying with this girl because I don't think that she has enough money to take care of herself. We've all been there. Some guys have. We don't talk about that. It's true, women should be able to do that. And that's not even breaking into like the fact that, women can be put, or anybody who doesn't have, if you don't have the ability to like support yourself, I could also put you in like a weird situation for sure. So yeah, absolutely. You should be independent. You'd be able to have that capacity and ability to do so.
I think this one's a no-brainer, right? I believe that men and women are equal. They're just not the same. And I think with that equality comes equal responsibility to be able to provide for yourself. And when I think about what could provide for oppression, if that were to exist, would be this idea that they were tethered to men to live their lives. I think if you remove that tethering, then obviously women are free to do whatever they please and exit very bad situations. One of the most unfortunate stories that you hear so often is that so many women are forced to live in very dangerous circumstances because they don't know who's going to provide for their child if they leave. They don't know who's going to provide for them if they leave. And so I think financial independence for anyone is always just a good idea.
Yeah, I want to speak about this through a different lens. I think it should be like women should be empowered to be financially independent. Encouraged versus empowered takes a different sense of support. Speaking to how men feel the need to provide. Sometimes when a woman makes more than a man, men can feel like they're less of a man because the woman is taking more of like the boss.
Sure, and sometimes women will shame men for that as well. Like, let's go both ways. Okay, let's keep that in mind.
And like provision kind of like role in the household. So I think that it's important to be able to equip women with being able to feel like they are empowered. And that is a feminist thing because it is breaking the gender norms of like what is masculine and what is feminine role.
Yeah, I also think it is important though in this conversation to recognize the women that don't want to be financially independent in a marriage.
Sure, we can recognize them, but
you know, there's a lot of women in our country that enjoy being mothers, and I think being a mother is one of yeah, exactly. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're, you know, stuck in their situation, because they're doing something very valuable by sacrificing that freedom.
well, no, but just having the capacity and ability to not get stuck in that situation. That's really all it's about. Like, you should be able to do whatever you want. If you can get a relationship where only one person works, be my guest.
In order to raise our next
It's
generation.
just giving a choice, right?
And their love is their labor,
Exactly,
right?
right,
Their
exactly.
love is their labor in their home.
Okay, I have a few different thoughts. One of them would be the importance of the family. I think women should go out and be financially smart and know how to make money and be able to make money for themselves. But being independent of men leaves this notion of that you can never trust a man, or that men are unsafe.
What? Why does it leave that notion? What do you talk? How did we get here? How did we get here? How does it create that notion that women don't need men because they're independent? What? Like, nobody should have to need anybody, but people are just going to want to find somebody to be with. This is okay.
And the problem that this brings is in the family. I think
Can I ask you
nuclear,
why?
hold on, I'm just going to finish my thought. I'll explain. With the nuclear
definitely finish
family,
your thought.
you have, and this is for both men and women, they're the most happiest when they are in that kind of dynamic. And to your point about marriages where women makes more than the man, that's one of the biggest indicators of divorce. And I think there's a societal and
Sure, but like, for what reasons? Why? Part of the reasons probably because women, some women or a lot of women may feel that a man is less than if they don't make enough money or as much money as them. Part of the reason is because men are 3 times more likely to cheat on their spouse when they're not the primary breadwinner. I mean, like, there's a lot of different things we could, you know, but everybody's different, you know. Give people the option to do whatever they want.
honestly God-given responsibility for a man to provide. So when men are told
And you can be a mother that has their own money too. Yeah, true.
that women are going to be independent of you, you're stripping away a lot of their purpose and responsibility to be caretakers of women, to provide for women. I would also say that the biggest group of people that are on antidepressants, and it's 1 in 4, are women that are 40, have a career, and have no family and no kids. Which is the real meaning of life is community.
What? Maybe? But you could work and have kids, so that doesn't even matter. Women that are 40, no kids on maybe that's true, but but he's making an argument that's effectively that women shouldn't work because nuclear family. So what does this matter? Like, okay.
Community, family, and relationships.
Can I respond to one specific thing you said, which is the demographic of women over 40 taking antidepressants, and you're using that as proof that they're the most depressed group. Men just kill themselves. So like all the men that have killed themselves, if they didn't do that and were still here, men would predominantly be more depressed.
That's a really,
there's no basis.
But also the
men
correlation
statistically
Maybe who cares? This is what I want to talk about. This is so like a non-productive conversation.
kill themselves more.
But we're talking about 2 completely separate, different points.
Well,
Right.
I think he's just saying that statistic is a little bit difficult to process.
It's out of context because the men that get
there's other factors.
yeah, there's other factors.
There's always going to
Because the depressed men kill themselves. That's what he's trying to say. Sure.
be other.
Another factor is that men don't like to go into the doctor as much as women do. So maybe there'd be more men on antidepressants potentially happier if they would go to the doctor. I mean, we can go back and forth with this.
Factors, but that's a clear indicator that women at some point, whether they started wanting a career, will eventually want to fall into a role of being a mom, having children, because that is what women derive the most happiness from.
You got a lot of studies and stats over here, which is cool. But like, when we're talking about financial literacy and financial freedom, there are a lot of women that have the ability, that decide to step back, all those types of things. None of that has to be taken away or omitted in order for them to be empowered. People should be able to do in their households what they want to do. I don't think anybody's trying to take that option away from women. I think y'all think people are, but I don't think that's really happening.
But they are. But they are. We see that in society today. People demonizing women for choosing to stay at home.
Not really. That doesn't really happen at all. I mean, maybe again on TikTok, but like that's not really happening. In any social circle, it's like it'd be fucking awesome to have like a husband that makes enough money for you to be able to stay at home. This demonization isn't happening in any real profound capacity at all. Again, victim complex nonsense that doesn't exist.
Female empowerment also means empowering women, again, to make the choice.
You'll find crazies on the internet saying any dumb shit that you want to say so that you can... That's the problem with the internet, is like if you can find any group of fucking crazy dumb people that'll say whatever you want to say to be able to like go after that group. Like that's just the reality of the world. There's always a dumb person willing to say some dumb shit that you can go, look, see, dumb person.
That fits them, their choices, and what they want to do. It is just as...
Papa, do you know or have any idea why men don't usually like to go to the doctor? Very curious. I don't know. Me personally, I don't like going to the doctor because it's gay. I'm just kidding. Well, it's kind of serious. I think a lot of it comes down to like just wanting to tough it out, like being a real man, toughing it out. And which is obviously not a particularly good idea. You shouldn't just try to tough it out. You know, that's where that kind of comes from.
As powerful, just as influential, just as important as a choice to make to raise your kids at home, if that is what you want to do, and also be the CEO of Walmart if that's what you choose to do. We can empower women to be girl bosses, whatever else whatever you want to say.
Would you empower a male friend if he told you that he was going to quit his job to be a full-time stay-at-home father?
Hey, good for him. Do your thing, brother. I'd be like, damn, brother, good for you. Yeah, who gives a fuck? As long as he's contributing and the marital contract is satisfied for both parties, who gives a fuck? As long as they're both happy, who gives a shit?
What?
So
Cash in, buddy.
No, that's good. I just want to make sure because like you're only defending women who get demonized for doing this, and you're not like advocating for men to want to step up and do that too. You're only
because most men don't want to.
Why not? Why don't you want
because
men?
they don't want
because
to.
They just don't want
I don't want to.
I just want to make sure I follow your logic.
Are you pro-choices or pro-less choices?
This is a trap. This is a trap.
What do you mean by that?
Are you pro-choices? Are you pro-less choices?
When I asked him why he doesn't encourage men, he said because they don't want to do that. So then why is it a problem if women don't want to be stay at home?
I'm not encouraging women to stay at home.
Too.
I'm not encouraging women to stay at home.
said
I'm
that.
saying that they have a choice, and I'm not for taking choices away from women. You may be. I don't know.
All right, reset.
All right, get away from me. Damn, all these men acting like women arguing.
Period pain is exaggerated.
Why even talk about this? Different women have different women have different relationships with period pain. That's pretty much it. There's really nothing to talk about here. Some women might exaggerate their period pain, but periods are rough. It's not just about cramps, which can be pretty difficult to deal with, but like it's also about blood loss. Not even kidding. Like some women go like anemic. Is that the right word? When they're on their period, like it can fuck them up. It's one of the reasons why women can't like compete workout wise with men, because they have to they have a week every month if they're on a regular period where they have to they can't really work out as much because they have like blood loss. So yeah, it sucks. Don't want it to be me. Look at all these things.
Okay, I'm glad no one stepped forward for that.
Thank God. Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna change my mind.
All right, next prompt. Innocent men suffer because of feminism.
What does that mean? Innocent men suffer because of feminism. Why would innocent men suffer? Huh?
So I think today in 2022, feminism has changed drastically, and I think it's really turned into demonizing masculinity in men while promoting masculinity in women, and with that, good men are being pushed to the wayside and pushing parts of themselves down and not embracing their own masculinity because society is telling them that it's wrong.
100%. I think like anything that is deemed masculine is seen as now toxic, and
I guess so. Probably went a little too far, but I think we're on like a nice rebound.
I see it all over social media. You can't really
well, like, you can't really. I mean, like, listen. Let's be a little hesitant about using social media as a reference, okay?
say anything or do anything, especially even like against or even for yourself, without it being like some weaponized in some way or shape or form.
Yeah. It's a shame that feminism has become less about actual equality and more about supremacy. It's not about equal rights between men and women. It's about women being superior to men. And
I just disagree. I don't know what to tell you there. Again, you could find any branch of fucking morons saying anything. But
women don't even like it anymore, right? I hear conversations with so many girls that are friends of mine. They're like, I hate what feminism has become because it makes me feel as if I'm a victim, and also too that men aren't supposed to be men anymore. It almost absolves us of the responsibilities that we have as males in society.
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but these are some of like the most fucking beta men I've ever seen in my fucking life talking about this shit.
To be providers, to be protectors. And innocent men suffer because we're made out to be toxic because we're fulfilling our roles as men in this world. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree a little bit with saying that men have to be providers, but I think, you know, demonizing those men is part of the problem.
Yeah, you know, I would disagree a little bit, but I think also too, though, what we probably would agree on is that in a society that makes women feel as if they need to be more like men, all you get is really bad versions of men. And when you have men who are increasingly more feminine, you get men who aren't being men at all anymore. And
what's wrong with men being feminine? I mean, I wouldn't want to be a feminine man, but who cares? Who gives a fuck? Like, talk about who gives a shit. Like, it doesn't really matter. Some femininity is not bad. Usually that's like, if you don't look at femininity in a negative light, then it's not bad. Like, compassion is a really good thing. The feminine quality that men should have. Being compassionate, you know? Like, that's not... Femininity is very powerful. It's just different from masculinity. So, there's nothing wrong with a more feminine men. Like, gay men tend to be more feminine. They're good people. I mean, sounds like a silly thing to say, but I got plenty of gay family members. friends and shit, and they're pretty cool. They're totally fine. And guess what? They all work and they contribute to society. They're good people. It's not that fucking deep. We don't have to be like, half these men are what I would consider fucking feminine, not for nothing, but like, you know, I'm a big fat fucking 6'4", 340-pound motherfucker. These guys are like fucking like little feminine babies to me. Don't see me shaming them.
I think like that's a huge societal problem, and we see the ripple effects and the consequences of that every single day.
When I started hearing y'all talk, y'all have a huge misconception of even what feminism is.
Well,
the goal of feminism isn't to
that.
demasculate men. The goal of feminism is to fight for social, political, and economic equality for everyone, regardless of your race, gender,
or equality of outcome, because it used to be equality of opportunity, and that's when I would say I would be a feminist.
But
now it's become equality of outcome.
But like, who's really advocating for like equality of outcome? Like, I don't see that advocation really happening anymore.
But either way,
like some people are doing that, but like not in this huge way. I'm not seeing like, holy fuck, like this massive way that this is happening.
Hey, what y'all are talking about is feelings.
Right.
Y'all talking about, I don't like how women make me feel in society about crying, how women make me...
Well, the question was about feelings.
Yeah.
No,
It was about are men affected, that's feelings.
Yeah, but,
so yes, that's
but feminism itself is not about feeling. It's about, like you said, outcome. It's about the wage gap. It's about having access to...
Which doesn't exist, by the way, right?
Well, it does exist. It's just when you factor in like a bunch of different aspects, like hours worked and whatnot, it's down to like 94% or 98% instead of 80, so... Still exists. I would say a lot of it's social. We need to teach young women to advocate for themselves, and you know, because I think a lot of that has to do with like in those upper management class areas where like you advocate for your own wage, and I don't think that women are taught to stick up for each other or eat themselves, excuse me, as much, which causes them to not like advocate for themselves. There's some confidence issues with women, I think, overall, and then there's also sexist men that are stuck there. You know, there's definitely areas where men think they're better than women. I used to. On my job, like I've seen one of like the guys. He wasn't like a boss, but he was like he would sometimes cover for like the boss. He was a mechanic. He would like throw away the applications of women that went in there. So there's some sexist pieces of shit out there.
But anyways,
I let you talk. No, you didn't let me talk though. No, you didn't let me talk though.
It's about feelings, right? You don't want to talk about how men feel. Let's talk about how women feel. Let's talk about feminists.
Again, it's not about feelings, period. That's my point. It's not about feelings. It's not about feelings, period.
Other women.
Wait, can we have the prompt again?
Yeah, let's get back to the prompt because it didn't have feelings.
Exactly.
Right. It's about
Innocent men suffer because of feminism.
And so can I pose this question?
But that is still about
on a
feelings,
on a day-by-day basis, do you think you're negatively affected by feminism?
100%.
Yeah.
120%.
And so
I really believe that.
Can you explain to me how on a day-by-day
Because
basis
it makes
it
them
affects
feel
you negatively?
because again, masculinity has this mythical eligibility of power. When someone, feminist, what have you, challenges that, it feels like oppression to them. So it feels like something is being challenged. That's my perception. Feel free to disagree.
And
That's what it looks
I'm
like
not
to
oppressed,
me.
so I challenge that perception. But also, too, to go back to your point about feminism, that may have been true with first-wave feminism, but with third-wave feminism, that is no longer
I would
the case
even argue
anymore.
because first-wave feminism and
Guys,
third-wave
bring it back to the
feminism...
prompt. And then also just, I love the ping pong.
What is even third wave feminism? Like, what is that even? What's third wave feminism? It is the iteration of the feminist movement that began in the 1990s, prominent in the decades of the fourth wave, grounded in the civil rights advance of the second wave. Okay, this is from like 1990. Let's see. It embraced diversity and individualism in women and sought to redefine what it meant to be feminist. In the third wave, the emergence of female theories such as intersectionality, sex positivity, vegetarian, trans feminism. Okay, interesting.
But just make sure we don't have five people talking on top of each other.
All right. There's another side to this too. It's the patriarchy. And so that is what you are talking about. It is the pressure to be strong.
I do kind of like this guy though, so I shouldn't shit on him.
Pressure to protect.
But in what ways is our society a patriarchy today? I know you said values, so I would...
Well, I mean, like, there's more men representation. That's not necessarily a bad thing. What it is more like, you know, nowadays on paper, men and women are like equal. And I think we know that at this point. It's just that some of the social aspects are still there that are lingering. We just have to work on this from like a social perspective and just chill out and let things take their course because, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take a couple generations of treating women and men equally. Right now, I'd say like a really good part of feminism is shitting on the manosphere because the manosphere is absolute abysmal dog shit, victim complex, male nonsense, a bunch of dumb fucking people that don't know how to build relationships and like to put women in situations where they can get raped. Sorry, but Andrew Tate's a fucking piece of shit. He's pretty much been completely exposed for being a scum fuck now at this point. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's just a horrible dog shit ideology. And I understand that some of it comes from men feeling disenfranchised, but like, you know, to the young men out there that are feeling like they're hurt and lonely and feel like they need help, I totally can appreciate that and respect and understand it. But becoming a victim And going to a perspective of like victim complex does not make you a man; it makes you a fucking baby. So, manosphere just puts like male victim complex shit in there, blames everything on women. It's pathetic.
I would want to get clarification on what you define a patriarchy.
So we should define patriarchy as a group, because I personally am still having a hard time defining it today, because it is so
we're talking
massive.
about something that you can't even define.
So I'll try and define. Do you want me to try? In a broader spectrum, I'd say patriarchal is a societal structure that we have set up that's kind of what's the word? Sociological values of how we set up a hierarchy in our society.
And so it's not a defined by where men are in charge and hold power.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it's a literal thing where there's some document that somebody wrote where it said men are in charge, women are second. It is a set of sociological values that you see.
So we're changing the definition of patriarchy, which is fine. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
That's what my definition is. I didn't say there was a set definition.
But that's a red herring.
That's how I define it.
Are you saying we're not in a patriarchal society?
No, I don't believe we are today. So the whole idea that our country is an oppressive patriarchy, it just really gets under my skin, because nobody's able to actually tell me what that is. Well, by definition, the patriarchy would be a society where men have power over women and women don't have a voice. And in today's society, that's just not true. Obviously, some people have power over others, but in our society, that has more to do with economic status than actual sex.
Yeah, sure. But that's still kind of like a factor again. It's like kind of passed down from the last generation where women wouldn't, or maybe not the last generation, but times where women weren't even allowed to vote or work.
So going back to the prompt, right? The prompt is innocent men feel attacked by feminists.
Suffer
from feminism, right? So if you make a mistake, you should be held accountable to that mistake.
Absolutely.
Now with the forms of internet coming out and communication going everywhere, y'all are talking about feeling attacked for being able to say certain things or not.
Not attacked, I just think that psychologically that some innocent men do suffer from
I would say they also
suffer
suffer if you're speaking about laws. I think feminism has changed a lot of laws that now all are women beneficiaries. So if you look at divorce courts, if you look at family courts, if you look at abortion, if you look at a whole host of laws, all of them are women primary. Men are heavily affected by those.
So
well, of course, women would be primary in like abortion. What else did he say? Like
disagree.
So if you look at divorce courts, if you look at
okay, women would be beneficiaries. So historically, you couldn't really get a divorce, which would obviously hurt women because they were the ones with they didn't have like the financial power dynamic. Yeah, women make out well because they have less money, but a man could make out well if they don't have money either.
Family courts, if you
family courts, yeah, for sure, that could be a conversation to have. But again, most women women tend to want their kids more than men do.
Look at abortion. If you look at a whole host of laws, all of them are
abortion. Obviously, would have a positive impact on women. No shit.
Women primary. Men are heavily affected by those.
Okay, it doesn't mean it's necessarily always like negative, but okay.
So I disagree actually on that. I don't actually agree on the whole loss stuff. But just going back to like the prompt and the suffering thing, I do think that you have to be aware that a man can't just go and say whatever they want.
Right.
Where a female can't.
Should they be?
That is not true. A female can say a lot more than a man can, especially online, on social media, on the internet. There's a lot of there's been a rape threat made, and a woman said no one will judge an eye. Cancel culture doesn't come in. But if a man said that same thing, they would get canceled immediately.
What the fuck is he talking about? I'm so confused.
I believe men today are really weak. Mostly they're lazy, and I feel like there's no courage. I feel like men today are okay with being losers, and I mean, more men need to stand up for what they truly believe in, and I feel like there's not enough.
What does that mean? What, we just got through like a whole lot of shit. Okay. What? The guy thinks men are I guess. I mean, listen, don't get a job. I mean, like, listen, if you want to say that some men are losers, it's because we do have a generation of people who are very focused on social media, both men and women. And they're not focusing enough on building themselves. They're too focused on like fucking likes, clicks, views, and all that type of like silly goosery. Get a job if you're a man or a woman. Try to, get a career. Try to push forward. Try to better yourself. And, you can play video games and shit as a hobby, but a lot of times people let it get in their way. People like porn, especially a lot of young men. Jerking off to too much porn gets in your way, and it hurts your ability to develop relationships.
Back to the prompt. Do innocent men suffer from feminism? I think look at with this entire Johnny Depp, Amber Heard situation that happened this past year. You have all of these feminists rushing to the camp to defend Amber Heard, and then all those things come out during that trial. And people are like, maybe Johnny Depp isn't the horrible guy that we thought he was, right? So that is an example of feminism radicalizing these people to just be like, I'm going to be anti-male, and I'm going to go root against this guy.
Sure, and that's terrible for Johnny Depp because, both of them are problematic. Let's just be real. Let's not pretend that that's not true. It's both of them. And we shouldn't have been shitting on Johnny Depp and praising Amber Heard, but also keep in mind like that happened because women were being like oppressed in such a profound way that society backlash. And I'm not saying it's okay because it's definitely not, but let's not pretend like feminism is the primary issue here. The primary issue is women didn't have rights, so they advocated for their rights, and then that was just like a negative outcome of taking it too far.
But to the point of the political...
How is Johnny Depp a victim of the system?
We have 30 seconds left on this prompt, so just finish your thought.
But yeah, but
bro, this has been the most whiny panel I've ever seen in my life, and it's all men. Who would have thought? Like, maybe that's just how the editor's trying to make it seem. Maybe that's just how the editor's trying to make it seem to push like a narrative, because like they're constantly like getting, they're like, okay, we have to move on. They're over talking, but I feel like that probably happens more often than we think. I feel like the editor's probably pushing a narrative, now that I'm thinking about it, to try to make them seem whinier.
Also, to Brett Kavanaugh. Big example there. You have all these allegations that come up when he's going to be the Supreme Court justice that never came up before.
Right, exactly.
What did that do as far as enable people who have fake accusations to say, I'm going to ride the coattails of the Me Too movement and ruin innocent man's life?
Quick.
Maybe. That one girl, Christine Blasey Ford, seemed to have some credible stuff, but that's a whole complicated conversation I'm just not in the mood to have. But there did seem to be a lot of people who were like lying about their accusations, like trying to coattail hers.
Where's Brett Kavanaugh right now? He's on the Supreme Court.
He's on the Supreme Court. Thank
And
God.
then Johnny Depp, was he convicted of a crime?
Because Truth won the day.
But that's the point.
He won in spite of feminism.
There's a pendulum, and for a really long time, people weren't called out for things, people weren't held accountable. So now, yeah, the pendulum's swinging. Maybe there are going to be some false accusations and stuff going too far. I would rather have 1 million false accusations, like over 1 million people that deserve to be in jail not being in jail. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather.
I don't know if I agree with that. What an interesting. Okay.
People go through false. You'd rather have 1 million people that are guilty on the streets than a million people that are not guilty have to go through a trial.
I would.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. The fuck. That's just a little crazy, brother.
All right, reset.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they're editing this to make them seem more whiny by having to like an editing on the resets.
Women are fit to be president.
Sure. The only thing that would scare somebody about it depends on the woman, right? If you have the ability to do a job, whatever, who cares? The only issue is that other countries would probably look down on us for it, like Russia and shit. But then fuck those countries, they could suck my dick. Because they have like regressive bullshit in their country.
I mean, really, this is a no-brainer for me.
Right? Yeah, I think that this is, I expected this to be unanimous, but I think this will probably be the biggest agreement amongst the group today. I think that anyone who's born in America above the age of 35 that's not a felon, you can be president.
Right, and I think a lot of times in these conversations we focus on the differences between men and women, but just, based.
I mean, like the president isn't the only one that runs a country. A woman president doesn't mean that there's no man that exists anymore. I think it's a really good thing to mix men and women when it comes to making decisions. It can give a lot of good back and forth and like difference in perspectives.
Off of studies, men and women are very similar creatures. I mean, we're the same species. We think the same on most levels, and to say that a woman can't do the same job as a man, to me, is completely regressive. Now, I consider myself an anti-feminist today, but this is the type of question that I would be a feminist for 50 years ago. To me, it should be a unanimous, thing stepping forward. But I look forward to hearing what they have to say.
I can't wait for what they have to say.
I think eligibility and optimal option is the difference. I think a woman can be eligible to be president. I think is it the optimal situation? No.
I mean, not for nothing, but if your perspective isn't yes, you're just sexist. I mean, that's all it comes down to. Like, that's all it boils down to. There's no other. There are women who are capable of being president. That's it. I don't think any one person should run the country, and we don't have it like that. The presidents have robust structures to help them like guide and whatnot. I don't think it would be bad to have a feminine perspective, like a woman's perspective, as a president. It's not like men are going to disappear. We're still going to have a nice, solid mixture. I think it could be a good thing. The world's not going to explode. There's still going to be people around them to help them guide and make decisions. I mean, we had fucking Donald Trump as president. We really can't get any fucking more inept than that. So, especially all people that are like, yeah, Kanye based. If you think Kanye would be a good president, then you have to think women would be good, because Kanye is a literal fucking psychopath. He's not a literal psychopath, but he's out of his fucking mind, okay?
I would kind of disagree with you where you say men and women are generally the same. I think we're completely different in the way that we process information, the way that we make choices, the way that we build society. Men are very hierarchical in nature. So it's very merit-oriented. I think
it doesn't, what? None of this matters, because like a woman who becomes president is going to be incredibly masculine regardless. So even if you don't like women, it doesn't matter. Like, the women who do the best inside of, like, a woman that would rise to be a president or be a manager in a company or anything like that is a very masculine woman, because they usually have to deal with, like, a very male-dominated space. So who fucking cares?
Women are a little bit more communitarianism, or communism. That's what I'm looking for.
Communism.
Communistic.
Women are communismists. Okay, that now makes sense. You're an idiot. You've never gone outside. Now it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, community-based?
Community-based, right.
Yeah. There are a lot of community-based. Oh, that's very different. There's nothing wrong with being community-based. Okay.
Where everybody gets one. So you get one, you get one. It's not.
What are you talking about? That's not what community-based means. They're just more empathetic, you fucking idiot.
Really based on output, which I think is good in some cases, but I think in a general.
The only output this guy's not getting from women is pussy. Holy fuck, dude. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. This is insanity at this point.
Scheme of building a structure of government, I would say having it more merit-based, very capitalistic, where you go out, you work for your living, you provide for your family. I think that's the way that men typically build society.
So even a woman whose worldview aligns with yours, you don't think that she would be fit to be president, even if every single view she has aligns
right, like I said, she could be fit, but is it the optimal situation?
But why would she?
Right. So what the fuck is this guy talking about? Is it probably, if she gets voted in? Sure.
The only reason she's not optimal because she's a woman?
I would say it's not optimal because God called men to be the leaders of society.
So again,
oh shit. What if God didn't exist, bro? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but what the fuck? You're gonna jerk off God all the time. As the great Ariana said, God is a woman. Am I right?
and you keep going back to God, and we keep trying to center Christianity as like the know-all, end-all. What about all the religions that had female goddesses and matriarchal systems?
We also don't have to sidestep Christianity as if there were not any female leaders in the Bible either.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to for my reason why. I think it was in London, and it's before their current prime minister. I'm forgetting her name, but she was their mayor for about 2 months, and she ran away. She pretty much resigned, was done with it. And I do personally think that women are more emotional beings. We are.
So one woman didn't like being in a position of power, so all women are garbage. Okay, well, check it out. What the fuck's his asshole's name? I don't know. Anthony Weiner sent his penis to people so no man can be a president. I mean, I just don't understand, where does the logic stop? Now you're saying because one woman was, by your account, I don't even know if you're fucking telling me the truth. By your account, one woman wasn't equipped to deal with the job, so now women just shouldn't be able to do it because they're too emotional. As if men aren't incredibly emotional. Men get angry all the time. It's an emotion. Stop pretending men aren't emotional. It's fucking childish. I'm getting emotional right now. You guys are making me angry from how fucking stupid you are.
They're not similar.
And that's actually not factually true. There are big differences between us, and those differences are very vast on the spectrum,
yes,
but we are a lot more similar in the way we process information.
I was just trying to finish what I was saying. I was pretty much like trying to go to the point of feminism has created, especially Western women, to be more emotional, more radical on like their decision making and.
No, what are you talking about? They're not more emotional or radical Western women. Well, non-Western women don't get choices. That's why they're not as, you don't think as emotional, because they don't get to actually have a say. You're a fucking idiot.
More like, just more emotionally charged, and that's where I brought up the London thing, where I feel like that's a good example.
This guy's a literal baby fucking beta.
Women are so emotional. I've never met one though.
Like, dude, you're a pussy. Go out and get a fucking job. Go touch some grass. Stop being a loser. Go shower. Go get some fucking bitches, dude. Meet a woman. Like, the men that think women are like a fucking special creature that are just dumb as shit and dumb babies that can't take care of themselves are people who've never had fucking sex before. Go get some pussy. Go on Tinder. Go learn how to like pull fucking girls. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's the it's in either direction. It's like people who like will revere women. Like, either they'll think that they're incredible goddesses that can do no wrong, or they'll think that they're like dumb fucking baby brained losers. And those are all people who've never gotten pussy before in their entire life. Those are people who think women are special magical fucking creatures. Women just have slits instead of fucking dicks. That's literally it. It's not that big of a deal. There's not that much of a difference between men and women. It's good to balance out a male and a female perspective. It's really not that deep. All right, like, holy fuck. This is so dumb and annoying. You people are so stupid. It's so childish. It really is just so fucking dumb and childish.
Example of that happening, where the pressure got to him. Resigning is coward to me, like being a coward.
So has a male president ever resigned?
I'm not sure, but
Richard, so yeah, if I can interject.
Richard Nixon, it was because he was getting like put into crime. Like that was the.
Yeah. Well, a man did crime, all men crime. Then there you go. Since you're gonna say like woman resign, all women resign. So
it's like double.
Yeah,
so that's not better. That's worse. So if I can interject, so you're kind of using this one anecdotal evidence of like, oh, this one woman got in office. Are you aware of all of history? Because like literally, men led pretty much every nation. I'd say about 99% of nations forever. So like, yeah, all the good things that have happened from nations, sure, you can attribute that to men. Every bad thing is also attributed to men. I'm not using this as an argument to say men are bad and shouldn't be leaders. What I'm saying is you can point to any person that did a bad job, and then you can latch onto their gender and say that's a reason why that gender shouldn't do something. It's not a good example. It doesn't make any sense.
But I do want to go back to you saying a woman as a leader and how some of those things might not be fit to be president.
Right.
I think that when we talk about a lot of the problems men are facing, a woman being president could actually help some of those.
Maybe. I mean, some of the issues men are facing are like homelessness and like mental health issues. I think a woman might actually give a fuck about men killing themselves more than men do, frankly. I think a woman would care more about mental health services for men than men do, honestly. So,
especially in facilitating a society where talking about your feelings is more accepted. I do believe in a 100% merit-based society, which is why I believe that anybody, man or woman, gay or straight, black or white, can be president if they have the merit to be so. But I think that to say that just because a woman makes some decisions differently would somehow have a negative impact on society is all just based off of assumption, when it could actually have a very positive one.
The gender pay gap is real.
Yeah, it is. It's not as exaggerated as the statistic says, right? It's actually like 98%. It's not quite 50%. Again, I said it a couple times, but like, you know, once you account for like all the different variables, you know, the hours work, blah 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? And I don't have to keep saying it over and over. Get out of the way, bitch.
I agree that the pay gap is real, but I don't agree with the studies that a lot of people use to say that it's solely based because of being a woman, rather than taking into account career preference, time taken off, the actual way you do your job.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, again, some of those could be because you're a woman, you know. Some women are conditioned away from and going for bigger jobs, but yeah, for sure, I agree with this.
There's a lot of other variables that go into these studies, and a lot of times I see the feminist movement say, oh, if you're a woman, you're gonna make less than a man, and it's just a lot more complex than that.
So I agree that it's a nuanced conversation, so there's like two things that I want to put on it. My dad, right, do you think my dad raised my brother and I and my sister the same?
Probably
Obviously not. No, I would hope not.
Well, yeah, but like in the sense
You're a
that
man
my
and your sister's
dad
a woman.
pushed me into different things than he pushed my sister towards. I think women are raised in a way where they're not encouraged to pursue their interests. And now we're starting to get to a generation where I think that might happen, but it's going to take some time. But then the second one is going to be that you get what you negotiate. And this is, I can only give personal experience again. My dad has worked in HR of a company. They offer men more at the start than they do women because men are more likely to negotiate anyways. Women are more likely to take the first thing that is offered.
That's true, yeah.
So
I don't know if that's factually correct, but I would believe it. That's probably true. I mean, could be all operating anecdotally, but my mom would even say that like women are different. My mom was like a manager. She ran like half the White Castles on Long Island. She's like, yep. You know, she would basically confirm some of these things as well. But they actually had like a lot of women leaders there at White Castle. So maybe that's why it's running into the ground. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that makes sense, man. I would 100% believe that.
And that is the thing where they take advantage of the fact that they know women feel uncomfortable in a male-dominated space. So you're going to get a job interview. You're getting interviewed by a man. Everyone you saw when you walked in, for the most part, was a man. And then they offer you a salary. You're going to be a little bit less likely to push back.
But that's
my personal experience.
But that's not on the company in that example. That's
yeah, maybe it's not. I think it might be a little bit, but more again, it doesn't matter if it's on the company or not. It's on like the social standards that we've set that validate that existing.
on the women, unfortunately, right? They have to be their own best advocate. They have to stand up for themselves. They have to negotiate better.
Sure, we have to teach them from birth. You know, when you tell a woman from birth that like you're a bitch if you stand up for yourself, and you tell them that you're a super based fucking alpha king, you know, it can have a, you know, it could fuck you up a little bit. Obviously,
you look at this issue when you look at but when you look at this issue of the gender wage gap, also too, it's the narrative that surrounds it is absolutely factually untrue. You're looking at the average income or salaries of men and the average incomes of women, and obviously there's gonna be a difference. Men and women choose to do different things. Like you said, men tend to dominate higher paying industries.
Sure, again, a part of that might be biological, but part of that's definitely social. I think this guy's missing the point, but
paying careers. Women tend to go do other things.
I also think that there's a level of preservation that is omitted in these types of conversations. You guys say it's nature, right? I have 2 daughters. If I push my daughters into a male-dominated space, bricklaying or something like that, who are my kids gonna have to work around? Are they gonna have to endure locker room talk? Those are things that are real things that I'm gonna have to entertain in my thought process when I decide where I'm gonna push my child. So that's why I'm saying it's not just nature. There are societal,
I agree.
There are societal things in place that put women at a deficit when it comes to making money.
If a woman feels intimidated, that's on her. Like, that is on her. She needs to fight it. And I don't believe the wage gap exists because you're given the same opportunity to earn the money. The fact that you don't fight for your salary or don't fight for the wage.
This guy's just a dumb person. Like, he's just annoying and dumb and whiny. He is the most annoying, dumb, whiny person in this whole fucking thing. He guys like literally like terminally online. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about like at all when he talks. So fuck this guy, he's an idiot.
Because you feel uncomfortable, it's on you. At the end of the day, it's on you. If you go in and you're applying for a job and you feel intimidated and then they say, oh, we're gonna pay you minimum wage, and you agree to it when you know you should be earning like $20 or $30 or whatever, it's on you. You can't cry about it and say, oh, this is because men dominate.
Wait,
well, so
I'm sorry, can I interject?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's on the woman that she feels intimidated, right? That's kind of the paramount. So then, is that the same when it comes to like once you're actually hired and once you are the energy or the environment that you work in as well?
Yeah.
So 100%. So the company has no responsibility to make a safe work environment or anything like that?
I never said that.
I'm asking you a question.
I said feeling intimidated is not the same as being intimidated or being constantly pushed to be like intimidated. You know what I mean? Like if I were to you and go, yo, I'm gonna hit you, or yo,
no,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that. The idea that women are tasked with their own social context and creating the environments for themselves that they want to operate within, even though they are continually stripped of power, is infuriating and is disrespectful. It echoed the sentiment of Black people keeping themselves down because of the acknowledgement of racism.
I think we'd all agree teachers, nurses, medical professionals, objectively important jobs for the fabric of society.
In the United States.
And we clearly undervalue these industries that are women dominant. Do you think that that's just a coincidence?
No, where I would agree with you is I do think that teachers and nurses should make more money, but that doesn't factor into the point that there is a pay gap, because if men...
Well, no, but it kind of does, right? So it factors into this idea that like jobs that women tend to be geared towards end up getting paid less overall. You know, caretaking jobs, teaching jobs, etc. Right? And it's just that fundamental, like, less value for things that women tend to do, the jobs that women tend to go towards. Even the men in those jobs get the same issue. That's like the problem. It does speak to an issue, right? It definitely does.
Man goes to be a teacher, he's still going to get paid the same amount as a woman.
All right, let's take a job. Let's take a job where men and women both participate. Like World Cup's going on right now. Look at the U.S. American men's team and the women.
Who cares? Gives a singular fuck. That's literally sports. I don't care. Sports is an outlier.
Men's team is also significantly more skilled than the women's team and brings in a bigger
more
audience.
People watch it.
How?
More people
They
watch
play
it. Do you think people that play in the WNBA should be making the same thing as NBA players?
I don't think NBA or WNBA players should be making more than
teachers. That's my question. In 2020.
I don't think they should be using doctors. Okay, we'll complain to the people who watch them. I don't know. Okay.
Women are not victims, but yet we live in a society that glorifies being a victim, glorifies being oppressed, glorifies people feeling bad for you, when honestly, all it does is, again, it provides another disservice to the people that are these so-called victims.
I haven't always understood consent in intimate relationships.
That's probably true for most men. I mean, I don't really know for me. I feel like I've done a good job, but you never know, I guess.
One of the problems is consent is not always clearly communicated, and I think that's one of the things that has kind of been weaponized against men, and whether the woman wasn't excited about it, or she didn't like the guy, or she was drunk, or all these things that they can use to remove their consent and their responsibility in that.
All right, the way you're talking about is really weird. I was with you for like, you know, consent isn't always really explicitly communicated, and I think that that's a really good thing to talk about because, like, yeah, there can be, it's a dance, and, you know, women might feel a little intimidated, so it'd be good to teach women to stand up for themselves and also men to be respectful and create opportunities for women to say no. But now he's just going into this weird fucking way area.
It would ruin the romantic image of that guy if he asked to kiss you or if he asked.
No, it wouldn't. You know, you could just do something like, oh, can I steal a kiss? Like a commenter said that. It was actually pretty good. Can I steal a kiss? You know, can I steal a kiss? Good night. You know, you can say something that's not completely fucking cringe. You can ask for a kiss without being a fucking cringe lord. If you're like a weirdo loser, you're gonna be weird regardless. That's the reality. It has nothing to do with whether you ask to kiss or not. Expressed consent for kissing is not that big of a deal. All right, you can pull it off. Practice makes perfect.
To have sex with you at every single point.
Yeah. If a woman's like, ew, I don't want to be with you, good. You dodged a bullet, guys, because that woman wanted you to rape them on the fucking offense that they would like it. Okay, that's not the kind of person you want to be with, all right? I'm sorry, I know I'm being a little weird and explicit, but Jesus Christ.
My experience with it has been a little bit different. As a Black kid, I was taught that if you engage in a romance with a white woman, it's a possibility that she might falsely accuse you of something. Yeah. So I've always been, I guess you can say hyper-consensual. Mm-hmm. What that has done for me is it has revealed the bullshittery that is all these like backdoor cuts that men act like women take to accuse them of things. It's super possible to never engage romantically with a woman in a way that she doesn't want. It's not even hard.
There's enthusiastic consent. You shouldn't like want to feel like you're talking somebody into something or like they are okay with it. Right. You have sexual encounters with people that want to have the sexual encounters that are excited about it, and like that's.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I fucked girls where I wasn't excited about it and they were. It's just like I met some fucking dogs on the internet and I've seen them in person and I feel bad. I'm like, I'll fuck you. You know what I mean? I wasn't sexually assaulted. I consented. You know what I mean? It's just fucking is what it is sometimes. Sometimes you fuck a yucky guy or a girl and, you know, you make that choice when you shouldn't have.
Something that like I do think gets lost. Like consent. One more thing really quick. I know young men that like definitely didn't want to have sex as much as they were, and they were men, but they feel like they had to. They don't, and it's like these things. Like it's informing young people. Like even though you don't want them to have sex at a young age, you have to inform them of it because they'll do it wrong if you don't.
It's baked into our culture from the music that we listen to. It's in porn. It's a dominating culture. True. When you go in.
Definitely a porn educator. I like this Asian guy. He's actually really smart. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, he says some smart things. But yeah, like porn has been our primary educator, I think, for sexual interaction, which not teach men and women properly. It teaches the wrong thing. It teaches like men to do things that they shouldn't be doing. mostly like rapey things, and it teaches women to put up with it, and it gets, and then like sometimes what actually ends up happening is time goes on and the women go like, holy fuck, like I didn't want to do that, but I felt like I was supposed to, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're going like, fuck, I was raped. And maybe they were, but like maybe the guy was taught that that was okay. It gets very fucking crazy and complicated.
Into a relationship, these are the things that you see, so you try to enact on that. Consent doesn't make you any less of a man. Consent is really creating the safety for the other person to mutually just be down for it.
I'm fucked right now.
Honestly, I didn't really hear anything that I disagreed with over here. It's just the only thing in this conversation that I worry about is lack of accountability. Because a lot of times, you know, women or man, doesn't matter what your sex is.
Guys.
If you're engaging in sexual activity, you can pretty much signal that it's consensual, and it can get confusing. But then if a woman or if a man doesn't verbalize it and then they go back, they confuse consent with regret. And I've seen that a lot in court cases or just throughout.
Have you seen that a lot, or have you seen it sometimes? Like, it definitely is happening. I just wonder if he's exaggerating.
But that's where the coercion thing comes, right? And like the context around, like the context surrounding, like if they were to say no, would they have been safe? Would there have been repercussions?
But
are you putting them in a position where
is that on the?
Well, then there's also another aspect of like, if they would have said no, there's a difference between they would have not felt safe versus the guy created an environment that made them unsafe. You know what I mean? There's another thing there. If you're like, I fucked a guy because I thought he might have hit me. It's like, well, what indicator did he give? He was a guy and he's bigger than me. That's really not enough. Like, you have to say no. You have to say no. You know, being put in a situation where you can't say no is usually very like explicit. It's like where they just are being continuously asking over and over. I get that. But if you just like, if the guy's like, you want to have sex, and you're just like, okay, because you're afraid they might hit you, even though they've given no indication, like that's on you. You have to be able to say no, which we need to teach young girls to not be. That's another way we need to teach young girls to stand up for themselves, obviously.
Woman, because if they agree,
it depends on the situation.
They were raped.
So like the Harvey Weinstein thing, like if any of those women say no, their careers are ruined.
Right.
They're in danger because
that
they're
is totally
it's the context. I don't think that false accusations, especially for sexual assault, are anywhere near as common as people want to make them out to be. And I think the much bigger problem in day-to-day life is the consent issue, not the false accusation.
That's undermining it though, because you guys haven't gone through it. Saying that is okay is not.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that in terms of what's a bigger issue that we need to worry about.
I think there are some nuanced issues that we have to pick a side, and I'm picking women not getting raped over men not getting falsely accused.
But that isn't.
I don't think that.
I think we could advocate for both at the same time.
Those aren't mutually exclusive, and it's a shame that we live in a world that's so black and white that you can't balance the interest of those who are victims, true victims, and also those who are falsely accused. One false allegation of rape, sexual assault discredits a lot of other real ones in people's eyes. It ruins the lives of people who are true victims of getting their cases heard in a fair and positive light.
I think what we're all circling around is that what we need in our society is comprehensive sexual education. Yeah. And I think the topic of consent needs to be just as important as the topic of protection.
It probably would if men got raped more.
Male feminists
so
are in it to get laid.
I think I don't know. I've seen a lot of them on the internet, I guess, that seem to be in it for the fucking punani. So that's why I'll never be a male feminist. Fuck women. I hate women. Frankly, I think that the fuck boys that are very clearly just like very sexually driven and don't respect women are probably less of a red flag than the fucking the men who pretend to give a shit about women.
I'm excited for this one because I don't like women sexually, so this is going to be a very interesting conversation. I think that if you are a straight male, the way you view women subconsciously is always going to have something to do with sex.
Right.
On just a fundamental level, just in nature. Now, that might not be the whole premise, but I do think that it has something to do with it.
Yeah, I think, like, again, the problem with these statements is, like, they're general. I think there are men out there that are predatory and are posing as feminists to get into the pants of women.
And even on a more, like, micro level, like, so I was literally...
I hate when people say stuff like that. Micro level, it just bothers me.
Just watching a recent Jubilee video, and it was one about a man. He was a self-proclaimed pickup artist, and this is almost a direct quote of what he says.
Oh yeah, that guy was really fucking weird. Not both of them. There was two of them. The guy with the weird mohawk.
Oh hell yeah, I fuck with feminism.
You know, I like to think I'm a feminist. I fuck with feminism.
And I think it's kind of emblematic of like there are men that don't understand the full gravity of how people who are real feminists feel about the situation. And they kind of see it as like this, like, oh, this cool, hot social issue. And if I talk about it, it puts me in the group of the good people. And I don't think it's always heinous, while there are people that are doing that. Some of it's just like such blatant ignorance that they lack the understanding.
Yeah, I think even the Posing of the question is indicative of the truth of the matter that I think a lot of the time it is that, because if you align yourself with a lot of the more traditionally toxic masculine traits and you're not viewed as on team woman, then you're not going to be in line with a lot of Western women in today's society.
I have a few like friends that go to these parties and they're like, oh yeah, fuck Andrew Tate. They all watch them, but they'll be like, oh fuck Andrew Tate, just so they can get laid because they know that's how, you know.
Well, fuck Andrew Tate because he's a scum fucking loser piece of shit. What are you talking about? He's the abysmal representation of men. This guy even... We're at a point now where, like, if you're still running defense for Andrew Tate, you really need to like reevaluate yourself. I mean, that's where we are. It's not just the way that he's talked about women. It's not the way that he's praised of people, historical figures that are like actual fucking rapists, like Genghis Khan. You know, it's not just when he sits here and says that, like, you know, when he gets questioned about women going to university in Afghanistan because they had their right to go removed. Him going, well, they should just fight for it themselves if they're so strong. It's not all just those things. It's the fact that he's also compared women. He's compared the way that he operates his webcam business, treating the women the same way that like people treat prostitutes, like a pimp treats prostitutes, which is fucking insane. It is the accusations, and not just online accusations. We're talking about like legitimate police arrests in Romania, a country where Andrew Tate said he was going there to escape the Me Too movement in some capacity and basically use his money to engage in government corruption, and yet he's still arrested. There's not some deep-seated matrix fucking shit. He's a red flag from what he says, and then he practices what he preaches, and this is the kind of scumfuck he is. I mean, enough is enough. We're like at that point, you know. These people that are so dumb and uneducated about Andrew Tate, you just have to stop talking, because it's not like we have a disagreement in opinion. We're talking about a legitimately bad fucking person that's making you worse off. It's perpetuating a fucking victim complex for men.
A woman will feel like, oh wow, they're listening to me, or oh wow, they agree with me, and feel a little more connected.
Yeah, and I think for me, as someone who believes genuinely in the fact that men and women are equal, but I don't go around parading myself as a feminist, because the only thing that I could think that justifies being a third-wave feminist, being a feminist today, is you must just want to get laid, because there's no reason to believe in all of these crazy things that go after your identity as a man, that seek to strip you of your masculinity.
All right, well now you're not as base, but okay.
That perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are bad and evil and all these things, that you can't be a provider, you can't be a protector, all these things. I think that has to be the reason. Like,
some of us don't identify with, me personally, I don't identify with masculinity. I might show masculinity, but like, I don't think feminism is taking anything away.
I could certainly tell.
away from me.
But I think that's a societal problem, though. The fact that masculinity itself has become a dirty word is a problem.
I didn't say it's a dirty word.
It is a little bit true. It could be considered a little bit of a dirty word sometimes, but I think we're reclaiming it, guys. Don't worry.
I'm saying it doesn't
Why do you choose not to identify with it anymore, even
because when you say it, nothing in my heart feels anything. It's just a word. It's just I don't think anything I
don't go down. That's a slippery slope.
do is because I'm a man. I think that it's because of who I am.
Yeah. Well,
let's hear it.
I think to your point, asking like, why would any man be a feminist? So I just think that we don't all view feminism the way you do. Similar to the way the Black Lives Matter movement has been moved and changed and developed in terms of the way that people identify it. The things that you speak about when you talk about third wave feminism is not what I mean when I say that I am a male feminist. And so, yeah, no, if you can't understand that me wanting to make the world a more equal and level playing field for my two daughters, for my wife, for my mother and my mother-in-law, and standing in front of people who want to take liberties away from them, that's the reason why I am a male feminist. It's a perpetuation of oppression.
Considering he's gay, my wife asked this in the chat, considering he's gay, do you think his strong opinions are to feel validated by other men? I don't know if you've talked about this. It's possible. I didn't really talk about it, but it is possible, I suppose.
That I'm trying to dismantle.
And for me, I think we're taking this from a very heteronormative perspective, right?
God, dude, this guy needs to go. The word is very heteronormative. I hate people. I just stop at the buzzwords, bro. It pisses me off. So cringe.
All my friends aren't straight women. So I'm not going to look at my non-binary or LGBTQ friends and be like, oh, just because I can't have sex with you, I'm not going to fight for your rights. There is no personal gain for just saying that we should be there.
Two things can be true. I agree with you. And I think a lot of us agree on what we're talking about. It's just these labels are in the way of getting us to that.
It's also a blanket statement.
One thing to build on top of, too, is to an extent, leading men to want to take advantage of women is the very pressure put on by other men. Yeah. That if you're not sleeping around, if you're not getting laid, you aren't, and that doesn't come from women, at least from my experience.
That's patriarchal culture.
If men were a little bit like so I'll say this now. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22. Now I'm fine with that.
Fucking cringe. No, I lost mine when I was like 19 or 20, like whatever, who cares?
If you asked me at 21 how I felt about that, I would change it.
Also interesting too, because I remember like back in the day I wanted to fuck virgins like only. I've never had sex with a virgin, but I was because I was so self-conscious. about my pee-pee. But now I never would want to fuck a virgin. Obviously, partly because I'm married, but also because I don't want to have bad sex because virgins are bad in bed, you know? So I think a lot of like men going after virginity is because they're like insecure in bed. They're kind of fucking losers. Instead of cope with that, they decide to take it out on women.
The subject as quickly as I possibly could because I was ashamed.
They make movies about it.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was ashamed of it, but you know that's part of the.
Well, I guess not take it out on women, but instead of like deal with it and just get better in bed, they fucking they cry about it and go for virgins. Some women can be mean when it comes to the bedroom though, so I can understand that. But
This is gonna be the last prompt.
Shouldn't die.
I want to hear everyone speak. I want everyone to get their voice in. Be mindful of folks that are trying to talk. Step forward if you agree with the prompt. I like living in a patriarchal society.
Hey, listen. I'll take the benefits anytime, baby. You know what I mean? I'll fight for women's rights, but I'll never want to be a woman. I'm just being fucking honest with you, dude. I'm just being a real right now, okay? I'll take life. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like me personally, I've had like, I haven't had the hardest life, but I've had some struggles and trials and tribulations. I don't think I'd ever want to be a woman. I don't think I've ever thought, it'd be cool to be a woman for a day. You know, that's just me personally. I'm pretty happy with what I am. I feel pretty free as a person. I see the way that women are treated around me, and I feel like I don't want to be that. That's really just that kind of simple. I'm very happy with who I am as a person. There's things I'd like to change, but like I fundamentally am pretty happy with who I am. Is it playing? Oh, okay. We're in for this fucking nerd. Well, this guy needs to live in a patriarchal society because he's so useless that without the society like sucking his cock, he wouldn't be able to achieve anything.
I would say patriarchal society. Again, I've mentioned the scriptural basis for this, but I think patriarchal society is the way that society functions best. Yeah, patriarchy is just a man-led society. So I think we've kind of flipped the term on its head to mean something that it doesn't mean, to say that a patriarchy is a society that oppresses women. That's not what a patriarchy is.
That's what kind of leads to, oh my God, I almost died. That's what it kind of leads to when you have one group of people running society. Those people tend to get more catering to, and tends to lead to oppressive natures towards those people. Oh.
So I think if you have a patriarchy operating properly, you have men that are responsible and taking care of their families, taking care of the women of society.
Well, there's no way to ensure that that's going to happen. So that's a fucking fantasy world. That's why we need, if that was happening, women wouldn't have ever asked for rights. So.
And in turn, the women have equal opportunities to pursue whatever career they want, to be a mom, to be a wife, and to do the things that they want to do as well.
We're coming to eat you. So I'll go
Dude,
first.
How does
this is a little bit of a personal, emotional thing.
Get away from me, bitch.
At the beginning of September, I lost my brother to cancer.
That's sad, bro.
And I took about 2 or 3 weeks off work, and then I really started feeling, the financial impact of it. Okay. And I have my girlfriend, people in my life telling me that they want to help me out financially, but I have this thing internally within me that feels like a leech. In some way, shape, or form, that is because of this thing this expectation that we put on men to be providers.
Okay, listen. Not for nothing, but like, okay, I'm not trying to be rude at all, but it's terrible that his brother died, but it's okay to feel like a little bit of a burden if you're not working. And oftentimes it can be really good to go back to work if you've like lost a loved one because it gives you something to focus your mind on. It's okay to get help too. Absolutely. But like, I just, and maybe I'm being a little too fundamental about this, but I don't think that this is necessarily a huge issue to feel like you don't want to take money from people. Having pride is not like a bad thing all the time. Women should have pride as well.
It's really fucking hard, and I can't explain why. I would have liked to have a little bit more time than 3 weeks before I had to start worrying about fucking money again after my brother passed away. And I do feel like that kind of is a direct result of the patriarchy.
I don't know, man. Listen, because when my uncle passed away, my uncle was like a father to me. Like I didn't have like an actual father, so I took a week off of work. So I understand. I think that you should be able to get time to take off work. And it was really annoying that the day that he passed away, like my boss was already calling me, asking me how I wanted to take the time off, if I want to use sick time or this or that. It's kind of frustrating. And my boss's defense, it wasn't his fault. They were calling him and bothering him about it, so he delayed it as much as he really could. But like, I don't think it's necessarily healthy to take too much time off from life because something like that happens, because like it kind of removes your motivation to exist. It's good to be able to take time off. Like I'm happy I got my week off. Maybe you could even say 2 weeks, but I don't think that it's great to just completely disrupt your life. Sometimes it's good to go back to work and get back into the rhythm and breathe and like do. Being forced to do things isn't always like bad in this case. You know, having to go back to work isn't like necessarily a bad thing. It can be therapeutic. You know, it gives you something to do that's not just sitting and sulking, because that could destroy you as a person, frankly.
And I know that it is myself. It's my personal feelings.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
But I think it stems from the society that I grew up in that I'm even feeling these things to begin with.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, to start, you know, I want to say I'm really sorry for your loss, because I can't even imagine what it's like to lose a loved one. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. It's really important for people to hear. But I don't think that it's accurate to blame a horrific situation on one aspect of society or the patriarchy or this without any solid basis.
That is, so I think that's a fair response. And to clarify my statement just a little bit, that's more of a communal problem. So I wish there was a little bit more of a stronger community sense within our country.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a patriarchal society is not one of support. It's one of merit. It's one of bootstraps. It's one of competition.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing overall. Like, it's not a bad thing for the factors to exist, but it would be good to have a little more empathy, a little more femininity in our society, a little more building. You know?
Competition.
You said that a merit-based.
You know, I think you need a masculine and feminine figure to raise your kids, a mother and a father. Not necessarily. You know, you have to be gay and masculine and gay and feminine, whatever. But generally speaking, you need like a man and a woman to raise a kid. And I think that it's the same thing in society. You need the woman in a male perspective to do good in society. Men tend to break each other down, but in good ways, like breaking down a muscle, and women tend to like recover that, breaking down through like nurturing. So I think it's a good thing.
Society is somehow correlated with the patriarchy, and I don't see the correlation there, because if you look anywhere in nature, everything is merit-based. You know, lions in the safari, it's about strength. It's about, you know,
Bro, lions literally will sleep like 18 hours a day and just get up to eat and like protect if they have to, but the women are the one that goes and hunts. So like, I don't know. I wouldn't personally reference lions. Men are fucking lazy fucking animals when it comes to lions. Like, that's just the fucking truth.
Competition. That's just how our world works. And my biggest flaw with feminism today, or any social movement really, is that some things are just inherent to nature. So to try to solve equal outcome and solve all of these problems, it's just naive, and it takes away from actually solving the issues that are in front of us, because it's a delusion.
There will always be winners and losers.
Yeah,
the delusion.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back and, you know, we've been asking, what does patriarchy mean, right? You know, I don't think it just means male-led. What I'm trying to dismantle is the institutions in our society reinforcing that males are superior. A lot of societal institutions and staples of our society are reinforcing that narrative that men alone have to take on that mantle of being the one to provide, being the one to lead the charge on fixing a problem, right? Where, like what Tucker was saying, we all experience emotions and, you know, react.
Bro, so like you see this, well, you can't see it because you're blocking my screen. There's like a fucking vampire or like a death at the bottom right, and what happens is that I have to kill him, but he stays in the same position on the screen, and I have nothing that'll really do any damage to him specifically, so I'm gonna fucking die. You see how like I'm walking at him and he just stays in the same spot? But this character sucks my fucking balls, bro. Fuck.
Independently, and we look for community.
Yeah, so I think a direct combat towards the patriarchy is emotional intelligence that we haven't actually talked much about today. We keep going back to business, money, and all these different things, because those are things associated with manhood. But if we really want to shift the dynamic, it's about how do we own like the emotional parts of ourselves as men, and that is not a conversation that is had in society enough, nor is it supported. In a patriarchal society, it impacts men in a way where we feel like we can't let the armor down.
That's what the difference between you're saying like third wave feminism versus like first and second wave. I feel like now it's about superiority. When you're saying like you're mansplaining, or when you're like,
I just wish this guy wouldn't talk anymore, because he's the most obnoxious fucking person in this entire thing. He just doesn't stop, and it bothers me.
That men do this, or men, you know, take advantage, and men do that. It makes it as we're your enemy, when in reality it should be more.
You are my enemy. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. All right, he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Like working as a team, right?
I have a clarifying question. Yeah. So you were describing that it's shifting to matriarchy, right?
Yeah, matriarchy. Just like more like being against, like when you're demonizing men for like their actions in general.
Yeah. So like when we're moving towards a socially matriarchal society, it's mansplaining and it's men being canceled. But when patriarchy is in place, we're dealing with issues of wealth. We're dealing with issues of healthcare, whether you consider it healthcare or not. We're dealing with issues of safety. Well,
the better way to tackle it is that they'll say that it's good that we're in a patriarchal society, but they'll say matriarchal society is bad. And it's like, that should be like a better indicator of like, oh, this is a little sussy.
We're dealing with issues of liberty. We're dealing with issues of choice. It seems that matriarchy is less, I guess, oppressively heavy, because all I have to deal with is you not liking what I have to say. Whereas in a patriarchy, I can't make as much money. That's worse.
Well, it's not just about disagreeing about whether or not it exists. And the fact of the matter is, even in a patriarchal society which doesn't exist, men and women can still go and make the same amount of money. If women majored in higher paying fields of study.
Well, that wouldn't happen. In a patriarchal nor matriarchal society would people get treated equally, because it would be, I mean, I guess it depends on how heavy in the spectrum, how possible that would be, I guess. Why are we, I don't understand why this is the conversation. Like, why are we talking about whether we should be a patriarchy or a matriarchy? Like, well, none of these things are productive.
They would make more money. Nope. When we talk about men's mental health, I separate it from patriarchy, because I think that to be expressive about what you're feeling and what you're going through, you have to be strong. And being strong, I associate that with being a man, being masculine. Maybe society would like to beat you up for that. Maybe that's why. I
mean, maybe, but like, would then just teach women to be more masculine if you want to consider strength a masculine quality. Like physical strength is probably a masculine quality. Like I would say emotional strength is probably a feminine quality, you know.
Men are likelier to commit suicide, but that is still an example of strength.
I think that as we get further.
Yeah, and I think that like if men were more feminine, they'd have more mental, like emotional strength, in the sense of like not wanting to kill themselves. Like, you know, not going through the ego trip of not wanting to get help from somebody. I think that's the one way I guess you could consider men being more feminine would be a good thing. Go to the fucking doctor more. Try to get help more for your problems.
And further along the generations, we need to start preaching to young men the type of strength that you were talking about. Self-awareness, discipline, and honesty. Emotional honesty. Not being tough and not like, you know, being able to go through a lot, but being aware when you're going through something, when you're struggling, being able to articulate that, right? And doing it to the right people at the right time. I think that is what strength is. And I think that that's a positive message that we could communicate to the next generation about masculinity.
We ended on consensus.
Yes, that is a wrap on male feminists versus male anti-feminists. Nice job, y'all.
They say they hate men while trying to become men. Not true.
That is true.
Like, she was being raped. I am a woman. Oh, you're a woman now?
Okay, well, that was weird. Yeah, interesting segment. I don't know if it's because these guys were whinier or they edited like that, but there was fucking a lot of crying there. More crying here with these men than these other women. So a lot of soy boys.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.